This is quite a large group for our Thursday mayor's briefing, but I am so grateful for all the supporters who have come out this morning. I want to recognize my colleagues who are here with me this morning. Vice Mayor Maggie Ballard, Councilmember Mike Hoheisel, Councilmember J.B. Johnston, Councilmember Dalton Glasscock, who are here in collaboration with all these community partners, and Councilmember, Becky Tuttle, didn't see you. And I just really am very grateful for the opportunity to have all of our collaborators here today. As many of you know, we have a community-wide challenge regarding homelessness. And for months, since we, as a new council, have come together, we have put that as our main focus, homelessness, more specifically, the multi-agency center. So the future of the MAC is something we will discuss today. Thanks to the leadership of Vice Mayor Maggie Ballard and Sedgwick County Commissioner Ryan Beatty, this is a very exciting topic to talk about today as we come together to provide some updates and current plans regarding the MAC. Vice Mayor Ballard.
Thank you, Mayor. As many of you know, the city has been working towards a new multi-agency center to help better serve our city's unhoused residents. Today, it is my pleasure to share that we are working with Wichita Public Schools to purchase the former Park Elementary School at 1025 North Main to serve as the new multi-agency shelter, which we're calling the MAC, which can help achieve our goal to functional zero homelessness in our community. The plan is for the facility to also serve as the future Wichita Emergency Homeless Shelter and contain wraparound coordinated social services for unhoused residents. The building would be ready to use for the 2024-2025 winter emergency shelter and could fully be in service to the community as soon as 2026. This center will feature a no-barrier, short-term shelter open 24/7, year-round, and feature coordinated services to connect unhoused individuals to resources and to transform them out of shelter services into affordable housing. So the idea of the MAC is to have anyone with any situation, crisis, to walk into the building and there to be some type of resource or organization in there to address the situation, help them, offer services, and do a warm handoff to whatever the next step may be. Many of you here know how challenging the emergency winter shelter planning has been, so we're pleased that this location, if all goes as anticipated, will be able to provide space for the winter shelter for 2024-2025 winter season. We expect that the full-service MAC should be open in 2026. Last night, several of us walked the neighborhood and shared information with the residents close to the former school to reach out to them and hear their concerns. I have more doors to knock later today and hope that they will come on Saturday to the meeting to share their concerns or go to the website and leave comments. This Saturday at the Advanced Learning Library, we have an open house from 2 to 4. The website is live at wichita.gov/MAC, M-A-C. We're planning a second open house, so stay tuned for that. We know that change can be difficult, and we want to honor, listen, and respond to neighborhood concerns as this change. This is my district, and I want to do everything that I can and that the city can to address neighborhood challenges and make this site as successful for everyone involved. Unhoused residents can often be found in this neighborhood already, as it is in close proximity to many ongoing homeless and social service organization facilities. We currently have over 40 services, resources, or organizations within a 2-mile radius of Park Elementary. Currently, people have to depend on the buses, and we know that transportation is difficult to reach success. The MAC would provide a place to go so that those that are homeless have a place to be taken with no barriers, open 24/7, year-round. Commissioner Beatty, would you like to share more?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm here alongside Chair Pro Temp Sarah Lopez is here. And this is a monumental day for this community. I look out, I'm a member of not just Sedgwick County Commission, but also a member of the Homelessness Task Force, which many of my colleagues from the task force are here today. The Mental Health and Substance Abuse Coalition, again, many individuals from that coalition are here today. But I also look out and I see other people that have been involved in this conversation that's been going on for a few years now. I see Humankind is here. I see our friends from United Way and the Coalition to End Homelessness. I see Mental Health Association is here. There are several people that are in the room and organizations in this room today that have been a part of the conversation. And this conversation is a broad discussion about how do we best impact those that are most vulnerable in this community. And if you see the things that this community is doing, this is a consummation of a lot of other projects. If you look at the staffing situation, the need to staff better, you saw the academic community come together with KU and Wichita State to open up a biomed school in downtown Wichita to address staffing needs in the behavioral health and mental health ecosystem. If you look at the county with ComCare Crisis, we're expanding ComCare Crisis to have more services in this entire field, this entire ecosystem. If you look at what the state has done with the state psychiatric hospital coming to Sedgwick County, again, to impact this ecosystem. And today, the fourth leg of this stool is now coming to fruition with the city-led project, the MAC. We cannot separate homelessness with mental health, behavioral health, substance use, housing vulnerability. We have to take a collaborative approach so that we can address this as a community. And those projects that were just listed is symbolic of collaboration. You see the state involved, you see academic involved, you see the county involved, the city involved, nonprofit involved. You see the business community, the faith community involved. And what's been said for many years in this community is it can't be one organization or one entity that does this. This will take a collaborative effort from the entire community. And I stand here today proud of the effort that the city is doing with this MAC project, something that is desperately and critically needed in this community. Critically needed in this community. We're too good to let our most vulnerable citizens sleep in alleys and on street corners. That is not who we are as a community. And what this effort symbolizes is we are going to raise the bar here and serve people that need served the most. So I'm proud of this effort. I'm proud to stand alongside the city. I know Commissioner Lopez is as well, to do our part primarily in this entire ecosystem to advocate for the most vulnerable. So I want to thank the city. I want to thank those that are involved in this project. I want to thank those that are changing the conversation around homelessness in this community. And I want to tell our community that this goal of functional zero is practical. It is doable in this community. We can accomplish this in the city of Wichita and throughout Sedgwick County. We can do this. And all these things that we're working on as a community, collaborating, I believe that we will be the gold standard nationally of how a community comes together to meet our most urgent needs. One of the partners that have been involved in this and is really helping to make this happen, and I want to thank them publicly, is the Wichita Public Schools. USD 259 has supported this plan, and the staff has been involved up to this point working with the city of Wichita. So I want to invite up Stan Reeser. He's the board president of the USD 259, just to say a few words and to publicly thank him and USD 259 for their support. Stan?
Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, Mayor Wu. I'm Stan Reeser, president of the Wichita Board of Education. As you know, the Wichita BOE made a very difficult decision on March 4th to close 6 school buildings at the conclusion of the school year in May. Park Elementary at 1025 North Main was one of those 6 schools. When we made that decision, there was no specific plans for any of those 6 buildings. As you know, we're also in the middle of a facility master plan process right now. Weeks after our decision, the city reached out to us with the vision that you're learning about today. I believe this project is a tremendous opportunity to be a good stewards of our public tax dollars, and to answer the call of the community need that the commissioner and the mayor just pointed out. Wichita taxpayers constructed the buildings as an educational center. While the building and grounds will no longer be served as a school, another tax-supported entity will operate the facility to serve and care for our community unhoused residents. This facility will serve a population that includes our community's youngest residents, some of who are students in the Wichita Public Schools. Our kids and their families deserve the best we can bring to them. At our next board meeting, this coming Monday, June 9th, 10th, the BOE will consider an item which declares this property surplus and another that authorizes the sale of the building to the city of Wichita. If the Board of Education approves this recommendation, we will follow the process that school boards are required to follow to excess properties. I have the confidence that the city and the partners involved in this initiative will care for both the building and the neighborhood around it just as we have. As difficult as this decision was to close Park as a school, the Board of Education members and I believe that this project is very well needed, well thought out, well planned, and will honor the tradition of Park Elementary. And so again, I appreciate the community's efforts in this area, and I thank everyone that's up here today for all the effort that's been done to make progress in this area.
Thank you once again to Stan, to Ryan, to Maggie for your leadership and for seeing a vision to move us forward towards a solution. At this time, I would like to invite our Wichita Assistant City Manager, Troy Anderson, where he will share a few more details regarding the MAC.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Stan, and all the support from the Board of Education, USD 259, for giving us an opportunity to go down this path and explore whether or not this is the right choice for the community. So thank you for your ongoing support. A lot of this is going to be repetitive, but just to reinforce, when city staff learned of the availability of the property, they began exploring the possibility of its use for the MAC. Given its close proximity to multiple homeless service providers, the location is ideal for referrals and coordinated services, easy access and mobility for those needing services, and collaboration among agencies. The project is also more financially feasible as the property will be effectively donated to the city and appears to be readily adaptable to reuse. We will have more concrete projections on cost and a timeline at a later date, but at this time, we wanted to share this update with the community and also invite the entire community and all of our community partners to the public meeting this coming Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library, where we'll provide more information and more details on the work that we have done thus far and what we anticipate this will look like going forward. With that being said, I'll pass that back to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you again, Troy. When city staff learned of the availability of this property, that is when we began exploring the possibility of where the MAC could go. As many of you know in our community, we have been saying that we want to be part of the solution, but it does require more than just one entity to be part of the solution in order for a community-wide challenge to get to a solution. So I am so grateful to the individuals who are here with us today who want to be part of that solution and part of that collaborative effort. We again want to invite the community to come out this Saturday, June 8th, from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library for a community meeting regarding more details about the MAC. In addition, we have a website that is live where you can find more of those answers that you're looking for in regards to the MAC. It is Wichita, www.wichita.gov/MAC. Again, thank you all very much for sharing your comments today and for all the hard work that has gotten us to this point. Addressing homelessness is a top priority for our community, and it's an issue that will require us to come together to help serve our most vulnerable individuals. And once again, the community meeting will be on Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library. With that, we will take any questions from our media partners.
Do you know if the MAC is going to be fully staffed by city officials? You're going to be inviting service providers to take over staffing? What's that going to look like?
Great question. Yes, it'll provide a combination of both, right? So as you've heard from our partners, right, this won't happen unless we have everybody at the table. So yes, we've had conversations with a number of our community stakeholders and partners. We're having conversations with our existing service providers, right? And trying to better understand how they can be part of the ongoing solution. But at the same time, yes, we have every intent to make sure that folks from the city, particularly Housing Community Service Department Division, who specifically deals with folks who are transitioning out of homelessness into housing. And so it'll be a combination of both.
And will there still be psychiatric services on site, or is it going to be just kind of shelter beds and wraparound services besides that?
So that's a great question, and this is going to be my teaser to come out Saturday, right? And we're going to provide a lot more information. Our first priority is to continue our due diligence on the site and determine we have environmental review, we have the state needs to weigh in on the disposition of the property. We have a lot of due diligence to do before we even get to acquisition of the property. In the meantime, we're going to continue to work with our partners to understand what the governance structure and what the operational model looks like, and how, again, each of our community partners can play a role in being within the facility.
Do we know how many emergency shelter beds this will hold?
So we've done some preliminary research, and again, we'll provide some more information on Saturday, but we anticipate the facility could probably support 150 to maybe 200 beds. But again, that's all going to depend on, as we walk through final design and what that might look like, exactly how many beds. But we anticipate at this point in time, we can probably outfit the facility with about 150 to 200 beds, having some flex space in there for those times and seasons when folks are most vulnerable.
Initial conversations about the MAC involved the emergency shelter, navigation center with the wraparound services, and then the affordable transitional housing. Is that still a component of this project? If so, would it be in the school as well, or what, is that still part of the project?
So yes, all of the components that you just described, right? The navigation center that provides the wraparound services, the supportive services, the congregate, non-congregate shelter, and affordable housing are all components of the project. And again, we'll have more information available for you on Saturday to kind of illustrate exactly what we envision this site and this campus might look like.
So I have maybe two questions.
Sure.
First is just a confirmation. I was looking at the website and it says that the property, the school would be sold for a fee, but also it will be donated. So I'm just confused as to whether it's just a donation or is it, there's a difference there, so maybe that's a confirmation.
Sure.
And second question, the scale of the project is a lot smaller now, right? I wanted to know if you could give that information right now, how that would look like. Is it still an $80 million facility project? If not, what scale are you looking at now? And yeah, let's just go with that. And one more thing, sorry. Are you looking at private philanthropy as an option? Because I know San Antonio did that, so yeah.
Yeah, so That's okay. So I'll respond to each one of those. So the first question regarding the real estate transaction. So the item that will be going before the board and the city council next Tuesday morning, right, is an option agreement that sets forth the terms and conditions by which we are allowed to do our due diligence, gain access, and begin negotiations towards an actual purchase agreement. Right now, the terms are for a nominal fee. That's why we say, for all intents and purposes, it could virtually be a donation, right? But there will be a real estate transaction, and there will be, but for all intents and purposes, it's a nominal fee. The third part of the question around partner, absolutely, right? We have already started engaging our corporate and philanthropic partners to understand what role they can play in the ongoing operations and maintenance of the facility in the future. Yes.
Do you have an estimate of the total cost of this project?
Oh, sorry, thank you. That information will be forthcoming. Obviously, yes, the former project that we envisioned was that $80 million project. Obviously, this project will be slightly smaller. And the fact that the school district has been so generous in being able to provide the facility, that's going to create some significant cost savings, as well as obviously we have some limitations with the size of the property and our ability to put a certain number of housing units on that project. And so yes, the overall project costs will be less, but that information will be forthcoming.
Do you have information yet about the deferred maintenance needs at Park and the possible cost of getting it in shape?
So that'll be part of our due diligence process, right? We have been through the building once, and so it was extremely cursory, right? And so we've taken a really high-level approach of what we think improvements need to be made, but assuming we get through the option agreement, we have a due diligence period, we'll get into more granular detail on what we understand are those deferred maintenance costs, yes.
Do you anticipate needing to purchase more parcels of land surrounding for other components of the project?
At this point in time, the only property that we're exploring is property currently owned by Wichita Public Schools.
Was there like a game-changing or watershed moment that put this all together? I mean, was it the school being available, or what was it? I know it's been developing for a while. What was that?
So obviously, we've been trying to come to a solution on this for quite some time now. You've heard several years now the community has been talking about trying to come to a solution on this, right? We were going down the path. You all have heard about our efforts in and around West River Plaza, also known as Riverside Hospital. But to your point, yes, until such time as Wichita Public Schools made it clear that their intent was to shutter the school and to dispose of the property, did we really start having those conversations to better understand what impact that might have on our overall goals and objectives.
The city was initially going to put $20 million into this project, was my understanding. Has that number changed at all?
So we'll have more information around capital stack and what the construction costs are going to look like here in the near future.
By Saturday?
Yes.
So you can't do like an overview of funds that are actually dedicated. I know that there's a long discussion at the legislature thinking that you're going to get matching funds. That didn't come through. I guess you speak to some of the adversity that's been overcome in this, and then what do we know is locked in place?
So again, I'll defer to Saturday. This is our opportunity to kind of tell you about our intention to move forward. We really want to engage the community. We really do want to engage stakeholders and better understand what opportunities exist out there. We do have a pretty good idea of what we think this is going to look like, but again, we wanted to focus today's efforts and attentions on the announcement, and that more information will be forthcoming and an opportunity to engage the community. So we feel like we have a pretty good idea of what we might have available, but we'll be certain to share that information later this week.
You've been mentioning stakeholders. I just wanted to maybe get a few more names out there. I know Humankind is one that you mentioned, but any others, maybe in the business field?
So I'll probably just reiterate all the groups that have already been named here today, right? City, county, Mental Health Substance Abuse Coalition, Homelessness Task Force, you heard United Way, you heard Humankind. We have neighborhood associations represented, right? I won't be able to name any corporate or philanthropic groups at this time, but yes, we are engaging those folks as well.
Would any of those stakeholders like to share their excitement or think about this?
Yeah, I'll step away.
Hello, my name is Robin Chadwick, and I serve as the chair of the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Coalition. And I am so excited about this. I am almost in tears about it. I remember being in this room about 4 years ago during a joint commission meeting and council meeting, and them asking us for a roadmap that how the city and county could be involved. 90 days later, we came back with that roadmap. The MAC is a huge part of that plan. And I am so grateful to our city leaders, our county leaders. I've been in Wichita for 35 years. I can't remember a time when we've had such cooperation and collaboration from all parts of our leadership. And so I just say thank you.
It might be more for Vice Mayor Ballard. So I think we can all agree that this is hopefully like a really great solution and a relief for a community issue. I think it'd be remiss to like have this conversation without acknowledging the impact it's gonna have on Midtown residents. I know that you guys went out last night and you called the right people and you put out your flyers and everything. I guess I'm wondering if you are going to be offering any kind of relief items beyond just kind of ensuring really great communication. Like, are you considering any protections for their home values, setting up like a TIF district? Like, I know that there's gonna be some tension with that. So what are you exploring in terms of maintaining like a positive relationship?
Sure, I appreciate the question. Last night, I had really great conversations with everybody that I spoke with. A lot of the neighbors were happy to hear that the school wouldn't be just a vacant building that would be, maybe broken into or just start getting dilapidated. So there was a lot of relief there, but I pride myself in being really accessible to my constituents and really to everybody in the city about listening. And I made sure that if they're not able to make the meeting on Saturday, because I know it's a quick turnaround, that I'm always a call away, and we could even set up just a meeting specifically for Midtown in a few weeks if there's still seems to be more questions. I did hear a neighbor mention something about a possible CID or TIF district. That I just heard of that today, so that's something that I'll be happy to listen to and explore. Also, last night, someone mentioned maybe Midtown getting their community policing officer back specific to their area. I feel like everything is on the table right now. I just want to really learn what would make them feel more comfortable, because that's very important to me too. So does that mean a solid wall? Does that mean extra lighting? Obviously, we're going to have security there and be able to offer, lots of those comfortable measures, but really narrowing down what is important to them. But I also think this is an opportunity to clean up the neighborhood. Right now, we have very few beds that are available for anybody. Union Rescue Mission is not accepting as many people right now. We don't have a shelter. So we have really minimal options right now, and I think this is an opportunity to get some of those people off of the street because it gives them an option of somewhere to go with no barrier. But yeah, I think just having a really open conversation, there's no decisions that have been made, and I'm really looking for feedback. So I don't want anybody to just think we're checking the box here and having a big meeting, because it is extremely important to me. But the vibe that I get from the community is that everybody is really desperately looking for a solution. And right now we don't have a great one, but this is really awesome if we can get it all to come together. And all of the partners that are here, city, county, all of our nonprofit partners and helpers have been incredible. And like Robin said, to see everybody actually working together towards a solution to improve our city is really, really awesome. So looking forward to lots of good feedback so that we know what to work on. I hope that answered your question.
I've got a question, maybe for Mr. Reeser. Park is available for this because of a looming shortfall that the district is dealing with There's 5 other properties, and this one, I guess, can you speak to how the district can afford to part with the school on a nominal fee when you're dealing with trying to come up with as much cost savings as possible?
Well, first off, it's important to the school district to be a community partner on all types of projects, and this definitely fits that need. Secondly, I think if you look at the specific property at 1025 North Main, there is a nominal amount of recovery you could get. So I think what the Vice Mayor was just mentioning about how we can actually help that little section of Wichita is probably more important than whatever nominal fee you could get for disposal. And that's what the school board faces with all 6 properties, not just Park.
Again, thank you so very much to our community partners. I know Greater Wichita Partnership is also here today, so I wanted to acknowledge them. It will take collaboration. It takes collaboration between government, between providers, between the faith-based community, and our business sector. So having representation from those 4 entities is actually really signifying to community that not only is it a community-wide problem or challenge, but there are community-wide solutions, and it does take collaboration. So I hope again that this shows everyone that in order for us to really tackle the greatest challenges in our community, it does take collaboration and commitment from people who want a shared vision. And that shared vision is reaching functional zero in the homelessness sector here in Wichita. So again, thank you so very much for the opportunity to bring everyone together for this announcement. And I will remind everyone one more time that we will have a community meeting on Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Advanced Learning Library. Thank you.